Hello, I'm Autumn from Movement First Wellness, and welcome to yoga. Today I've put together a 45-minute practice designed to open the body and free the mind as we create a moving meditation on our mats. No props are necessary for today's practice, so let's go ahead and get started. And we'll be starting out today in child's pose. So face forward on your mat. And as you position yourself forward, you're going to take your knees as wide as feels comfortable. Once those knees are apart, you're going to bring the big toes to touch behind you and sit your hips nice and heavy on your heels. Now, keeping your hips as heavy as they can be, you're going to begin to slide your hands forward and bring your forehead down to rest on the mat. As you arrive in your first pose, take this moment for yourself. Close your eyes and begin to feel a sense of your awareness pulling itself inward, slowly dropping out of the world around you and dropping into the four corners of your mat, dropping into an awareness of your body and how it is today, dropping in to your practice. Relax your jaw. Relax your shoulders. Inhale slow. Exhale slower. Relax your hips. Relax your belly. Inhale slow. Exhale slower. Set an intention for your practice today. And let that intention be to simply feel good. Not trying to push, not trying to strain, but instead letting go of this manic push forward that we find day in and day out, and thinking of using your practice as a tool to slow down, to step back, and in the pause, appreciate how far you've come. Awareness on the body, awareness on the breath, forming a true connection and giving yourself exactly what you need here on the mat today. I'd like you to take a nice deep breath in. Fill yourself all the way up. This time as you exhale, let it go through the lips like you are sending your intention to feel good out into the universe where that intention can manifest. And let's begin. We are going to slowly release child's pose by peeling ourselves up from the ground. And as we arrive up from child's pose, we're going to meet in tabletop, so come to all fours. As you arrive on all fours, stack your joints, set a foundation. Wrists underneath the shoulders, all 10 fingers nice and wide. Knees stacked underneath the hips, so not together, a little bit of space to your base. Tops of the feet can be flat or toes can be tucked under, whatever feels best to you in this moment. I'd like you to look down at the space between your thumbs. And as you bring your gaze downward, we're going to begin to mobilize the spine with some cat-cows. Start by taking a nice, sweet inhale breath here. And as you exhale, come into cat spine. Round your upper back, drop your head and tailbone down, hug the abs and ribs into your body. And as you let go of that hug, come into cow. With an inhale, look forward. Think of the breastbone and the tailbone reaching up toward the sky. On your out-breath, come back to cat, rounding, letting it feel amazing. Follow your inhale breath forward into cow again, almost like a little ripple of watery energy. And as you exhale, keep that water energy with you as you create a big wave. Give yourself a few more rounds of breath here on your own. And begin to release the temptation of trying to rush the process, of trying to move as fast as you can in order to get as many things done in a small amount of time as possible. And remember, this is about tuning inward, checking in with ourselves, and letting things feel good. So acknowledge what feels good about moving right now, as you take one last cycle of breath. As you find it, I want you to give yourself one last big inhale, cow pose, stretching from breastbone to belly button. And one last exhale, cat spine, rounding and letting the upper back feel good. And then let's meet back in tabletop, this nice neutral foundation. We're going to get a little bit of a twist in the upper back, starting to rinse out some of the tension we hold in that area with thread the needle pose. So from here, I'd like you to root in through the right palm. You're going to lift your left arm up toward the sky and look out toward the wall to the left of you. As you feel the chest open, take a breath in. And on your exhale, let's find this twist. Thread that left arm beneath you and set your left shoulder down, side of your head down on the mat. And as you arrive here, adjust that right palm. Take it out in front of you, just where it doesn't cross your eyes so much to see it. And I want you to push that right palm deep into the ground and feel that right shoulder blade slide back, that little twist beginning to form. Now here, take that right palm, slide it forward toward the top of your mat, and breathe. Begin to relax the sides of the neck, relax the jaw. Notice where the weight is in the knees. And if you collapsed all of your weight over onto the left knee, draw a little bit back in the right so that you can have equal pressure in both of those knees. Hips stay level that way. Take another deep breath in. Let some tension go as you exhale. One more inhale here with me. And this time as you exhale, draw that right palm back in front of you. We're going to exit the pose the way we came in. So press yourself up off the ground, left arm to the sky, breathe in, back to tabletop. As you reset your foundation nice and strong, we're going to take the other side of that twist. Root in through the left palm, reach your right arm up to the sky, look out to the wall to the right of you, nice big inhale. And as you breathe out, find that twist, thread that needle. Right arm comes beneath you, right shoulder, side of the head comes down to the mat. Now adjust the head so that the neck is comfortable and adjust the knees, equal pressure in both. Press through that left palm, feel that twist coming in through the upper back. And once you find it, slide that left palm forward, lengthening out the line of the arm and feeling a little stretch through the entire back of the body. Hug the abs in just a little and take a nice big inhale into the chest, right around the collarbones. As you exhale, soften through the shoulder blades, the upper back. Couple more breath cycles here. Unhinge your jaw, make space between the teeth, soften your gaze. And as you take your final exhale, go ahead and slide that left palm back in front of you and pick yourself up from the ground. Right arm sweeps up to the sky, nice big inhale. Back to tabletop as you breathe out. From here in tabletop, we're taking it into plank so that we can find proper spacing for our down dog. So hands underneath the shoulders, you're going to stretch one leg back behind you and then the next. And as you rise up onto the toe mounds of the feet, I want you to think about your heels facing straight up toward the ceiling, so maybe hinge forward a little bit. And as those heels come straight up to the sky, push your hands deeper into the mat. Feel yourself lift through the bones of the arms. Now look forward and pull your chest forward. Draw shoulders onto the back, hug the belly into the body, and press your thigh bones lightly toward the ceiling. Stay strong here with me. Nice deep inhale, push the earth away. Exhale, let go of a little bit of fire that's starting to build. Inhale, fan the flames. Down dog. As you exhale, lift the hips to the sky. And as you find your first down dog, I want you to push into the hands again. As you push them into the ground, I want you to imagine that you're trying to stretch your yoga mat out in front of you. And let that energy press your chest back closer to the tops of your thighs. Press your thigh bones a little closer to the wall behind you and feel the hips rise. Relax the heels, let them sink down, and relax the shoulder blades. Let them slide down the spine, arm bones plugging into the sockets. Hug the belly in, and as the lower belly hugs in, let's find three-legged dog. Reach your right leg up toward the ceiling, take an inhale. An exhale breath is going to bring you to a lunge. Bring your knee in toward your chest, hinge the shoulders toward the wrists, and step the foot between the hands. Now, as we find our first lunge here, we want to look for a 90-degree bend in this front knee. So we're not going over toward the line of the toes, we're not too far back. We're nice and stacked. muscle and bone supporting us. And as we arrive here, back leg as straight as you can make it. So if there's a bend in the knee, see about pushing the back of the thigh bone up toward the ceiling and feel the hips and the pelvis get a little more stable. From our lunge, we're going to take pyramid pose. I'd like you to straighten your right leg as much as you can. And as you straighten your right leg, prop yourself up on the fingertips or come flat to the palms. But for a moment, take your right thumb up to the crease of your right hip. And you're going to peel that right hip back. Maybe feel the left hip shifting forward a little bit. Pelvis getting a little more level, hips getting more square. Once you've achieved that, hands to the mat, look down at the ground, take an inhale breath. Exhale, let go of some of the tightness in that hamstring. Relax the shoulders, and we're here for a couple more breaths. Send the breath into those tight spaces you might be finding. Imagine the head micro-lengthening, reaching forward out to the edge of the mat in front of you. Hips both peeling back to the edge of the mat behind you. One more breath. And let's release back to our lunge. As you exhale, knee over the ankle. Let's step that left foot forward under the hip. We're meeting in forward fold. Feet together, upper body hanging heavy over the low body. Direct your gaze right in between the leg bones, not looking down at the ground or the toes. Let the back of the neck open. And again, relax your upper back here. Legs don't have to be all the way straight. You can keep a little bend in the knees if you need. But as you exhale, I want you to imagine that your head is getting heavier, like about 5 to 10 pounds heavier, sinking you down deeper into this pose. Send an inhale breath into your lower back and imagine that area expanding, getting wider, getting broader. Exhale, relax, let the spine melt. I'd like you to take a firm hug of your abs. Pull your belly in toward your spine and keeping the abs strong, let's find flat back, half lift. Slide the hands up the shin bones, and once the back is flat, keep looking down at the ground. Seek out an extension in the spine here. Draw the shoulder blades onto the back, and as you take your next inhale breath, imagine your head reaching away from your hips, lengthening you. On the out breath, drop down into your fold again, head heavy. Little bend to the knees. Let's rise all the way up to Tadasana, standing mountain. Sweep those arms out around the sides of the room up to the ceiling. Big breath in at the top. Bring the palms together and down in front of the heart as you exhale, Anjali Mudra, shoulders heavy. Inhale, reach around and up again. Big breath in. Hug your abs, and as you exhale, fold. Press your butt back and hinge down over the hips. Find half lift. Glide up to that flat back. Find some length. Breathe into it. And as you exhale, fold. Hinge heavy over the legs once again. Let's come back to our lunge. Little bend to the knees. Left foot steps back in line with the hip. And as we come back to our lunge, back knee to the ground, lowering ourselves, crescent moon. Push through the right foot and reach the arms up to the sky. Now here as you find your first crescent moon, set a strong foundation for yourself. Shoulders stacked directly over the hips, not leaning back, not hinging forward. One long line of energy in the spine. And pause, relax your gaze, soften your shoulders, and imagine that the tailbone's just getting a little bit heavier. You're not trying to pull it down toward the ground, but as you think about letting it sink toward the earth beneath it, you feel the left side of the leg open up. So here, we're going to take a baby back bend. Goalpost your arms, elbows in line with the shoulders, and I want you to roll your shoulder blades together on the spine and look up toward the sky. As you feel the chest open, take a breath in. Back to crescent moon, arms to the sky as you breathe out. Plant the palms on the ground, lift that back knee up. We're stepping into plank. Take that right foot back. Find your strong plank again. Push the earth away, pull the chest and gaze forward, hug the abs, and press the thigh bones up. Now staying strong, we're gonna lower all the way down to the belly. So start with an inhale breath, and on your out breath, bend the elbows back toward the hips. Hug them into the sides of the body. And arrive down on your mat. As you come down, untuck your toes, press all 10 toenails down into the ground, and let's find cobra. Maybe low cobra works for you here. Lift your chin, your collarbones, and your breastbone up off the ground. If this is enough, stay and breathe. If you want a little more and your back is a little more flexible, press deeper into the hands. Lift more of the upper body up off the ground. It does not have to be this big. Shoulder blades, draw them down the spine. Wherever you are, one more breath in together. As you exhale, release, chin to the ground. Tuck your toes under, lift your knees up off the ground. Let's come back to down dog through plank. With an inhale, press up, hips to the sky on your out breath. As you settle back into your downward facing dog, I'd like you to think of pulling your sit bones away from the heels of your hands. And you feel that little push back automatically. Hug your lower abs in. Let's find three-legged dog. Left leg to the sky. Nice big inhale as you reach it up. Softly find that lunge, stepping quietly between the palms. Seek out that 90-degree lunge in the front knee. And as you find it here, right thigh bone presses up to the sky, hips a little more buoyant and level. We take it into our pyramid pose. So begin to slowly straighten that left leg, pulling the hips to the edge of the mat behind you. Now take that left thumb to the crease of the left hip and just give it a little peel back until you feel the hips and pelvis get a little more square with one another. Return the left hand to the ground and just look down at the earth beneath you. Now bring yourself to where you feel the stretch. That might mean bending the elbows, lowering a little bit more into this pose. It might be just a flat back. But I want you to take 3 quality breaths here. Draw the shoulders down the back a little bit. As you inhale, imagine the spine, the head reaching forward out in front of you. And maybe with your exhale, you can imagine somebody's grabbing you by the hips, peeling you back. Let's take 1 more breath in. On your out breath, come back to your lunge. And let's find that fold. Step that right foot forward under the hip. Hinge down over those legs. Hug your abs. Half lift. Inhale to that flat back. Reach the head away from the body. Fold into that length as you breathe out. Little bend to the knees. Rise all the way up to standing. Sweeping those arms around nice and big. Inhale at the top. Palms together. Anjali Mudra, heart seal. Hands in front of the chest. Reach those arms around and up. Open the ribs, open the collarbones, breathe in. Hug in the abs, and as you exhale, fold, dropping down over the legs. Half lift again. Use your breath to float you up. And fold, exhale. Little bend to the knees. Step the right foot back and come back to your lunge. And once you're in your lunge, back knee to the ground, crescent moon. Push in through the left foot and rise up tall. And take a moment here as you breathe. Tailbone gently sinking down toward the ground. Spine getting lighter, getting taller as you reach up toward the sky. And in this length, we're going to take that baby back bend. Goalpost the arms, and when you're ready, roll the shoulder blades together on the back. Lift the chin, look up toward the ceiling. Take an inhale. Back to crescent moon as you breathe out, arms to the sky. Plant those palms down, lift that knee, step into your plank. Take that left foot back. Find that solid plank foundation. Engage the abs, look forward, keeping the gaze forward. Take an exhale, lower to the mat. As you arrive, untuck those toes. Low or high, find your cobra. Lift your chest up off of the ground. Draw the shoulder blades down the spine. Breathe in. And then release as you exhale. Come down gently, chin to the mat. Tuck your toes, lift your knees, push up through plank to down dog. And awareness on your breath. Relax the upper back here. Shoulder blades slide down the back. Arm bones pull back in the sockets. Sit bones reach away from the heels, and those hips rise a little higher to the sky. On your next inhale breath, three-legged dog, right leg lifts up. Follow your exhale breath back to that lunge, stepping between the palms. Here, take it into pyramid, straighten that right leg. Without using the hands, peel the hips back. Take an inhale. Come back to your lunge as you exhale. Step forward to your fold. As you hang down heavy over the leg bones, hug the abs. Flat back, half lift, rise up. Fold, nice and heavy, head to the toes. Little bend to the knees, rise up to standing Tadasana, sweep those arms up to the sky. Palms together, Anjali Mudra, exhale. Up and around again, breathe in. Hug the abs, follow your out breath down to a bow. Half lift, rise up, stretch those shoulder blades back, and fold. Little bend to the knees, step the left foot back, come back to your lunge. Lower the back knee down, and with an inhale breath, find your crescent moon. Exhaling slower, goalpost those arms, find your back bend. Rise up tall and proud again, breathe in. Come to your lunge, plant the palms, lift the knees, step into your plank. Gaze forward, inhale, all the way to the belly as you breathe out. Untuck the toes, root through the toenails, lift the heart, cobra, in breath. Use your exhale to gently, gracefully release yourself from the pose. Tuck the toes under, lift the knees, come up to plank, and down dog. Take one breath here. Full breath out. Hug the belly. On your next inhale, left leg lifts up toward the ceiling. We step through to that lunge on our exhale. Pyramid pose. Pull the hips back. Straighten that left leg without using the hands again. Pull that left hip back. Take a breath in. Back to your lunge as you exhale and step forward to your fold. Hinge heavy, looking right in between the leg bones, hug the abs. On your inhale, float up to flat back, half lift. And then sink, fold. Little bend to the knees, rise to standing, sweep those arms high to the sky. Anjali Mudra as you exhale, let the shoulders get heavy. Up and around again, open the ribs, open the chest, breathe in, hug the abs, and fold on your exhale. Half lift, and fold. Little bend to the knees, step the right foot back, come back to your lunge. Lower that right knee down with your inhale, crescent moon. Take your out breath into that back bend, let the chest open, let it feel good. Right back to crescent moon as you breathe in. Plant those palms, lift the knee. Let's step into our plank. Gaze forward, pull the chest forward, hug the abs, lower down to the earth. Untuck the toes, find your cobra, inhaling at the top. Exhaling, releasing the chin back to the mat. Toes tuck under, knees lift. We press up and find down dog. Begin to feel that heat rising in the body. And we're going to make it a little bit warmer. So let's meet in forward fold at the top of the mat. Walk forward, little steps at a time or two big steps, whatever works. And as you come to your fold here, I want you to toe heel your feet so they're just slightly wider than the hips. You're walking those feet out. Toes are going to stay forward, and we're going to come into a pose called yogi squat. So you're going to begin by bending your knees and just kind of resting your side ribs on your thigh bones, okay? Now maybe this is as far as you go. No need to really go any further if the body is not ready, but you're gonna reach your arms out in front of you. Look down toward the ground, relax the neck. Now here, see if you can start to allow those hips to sink down to the space between your heels. And again, you don't have to be all the way down like this. Take it where it feels best. And here you can look forward. Just make sure that the neck is comfortable. Think of the arms reaching out as a way of creating a little bit of leverage as the lower body sinks. And we breathe around this pose. Try to relax. Soften the jaw. Soften your gaze. Building mobility through the hips, starting to open things up on a bigger level. Let's stay here for one more breath in. The exhale, 2. We're going to come up to standing. Start to press strong through the feet. Sweep those arms up high to the sky. Inhale. Let's open the chest. Drop those hands behind you. And as you drop the hands behind you, interlace the hands. Walk the feet back in line with the hips. And once you have your bind here, we're going to open the chest. So take a moment and roll your shoulder blades in toward one another, just like you did during that baby back bend during crescent moon. And the first thing you'll notice is the collarbones lengthening away from one another, maybe getting a little more space through the pecs and the breast tissue. Relax the shoulders here. Now, elbows can be bent. If it's uncomfortable to have the arms straight, bring the knuckles just to the low back or wherever feels best. And you can keep those elbows bent. Otherwise, drive the knuckles down toward the ground. Stand up nice and tall and inhale. Come back to a slower exhale. Think about taking these next couple breath cycles to just atone from all the wrongs that we commit day in and day out. Our society kind of demands us to be forward in this position. We drive this way, we use our phones, we type on our computers. So right now, we're just reversing that action, letting go of a little bit of that pent-up tension that we hold in the upper chest. We're going to make it a little bit bigger and sweeter here. So we're going to keep our bind, keep our chest expansion, and come back to our fold. So hug the abs. You're going to start to push your butt back and hinge down over the hips, dropping down over the low body and bringing your gaze right in between your leg bones. Now here as you arrive, you can keep the elbows bent, or you can allow those knuckles to reach up toward the ceiling. And if you want to play around with even more space and stretch, think about aiming your knuckles out toward the wall in front of your head. And they may or may not go there, but not the point to try to get them all the way there. It's just kind of figuring out where you can go to open the body. Couple more breaths here. Relax the sides of the neck, soften through the jaw, root in through the feet, push them deep into the ground, feel that stretch coming through the back of the legs. And let's softly release. Let go of your bind, let the arms float down to earth. And we're going to come back to yogi squat. So here, take those feet a little bit wider than the hips again. Toes stay forward, bend the knees, reach your arms out in front of you, and see where you can go. Maybe you go back to where you were just moments ago. Maybe you can drop the hips a little bit lower. And if you want, pick the gaze up from the ground, look forward, but only if it's comfortable on your neck. And we're here for a couple breaths. And let me tell you what we're going to do. You don't have to go into this if you're not there, but I'm going to give you the option to take an arm balance, crow pose. So if you'd like to try it, you're going to push through the feet, lift the hips up, plant those palms just a little bit in front of your shoulders, but shoulder width distance. All 10 fingers spread wide. Now you're going to think about bending your elbows back into your body. So not out to the sides of the mat, but rather bend those elbows toward the back of the mat, right into your body. Now, you're going to hinge forward here, put the weight in the hands. Knees can be on the outer edges of the arms, they can be on the backs of the arms, but I want you to hug into midline. So what I mean by that is imagine that your arm bones are pulling together right toward the center of the chest. Hug the abs. Now look a little bit forward, just past the fingertips, and play around. With that weight in the hands, maybe you pick one foot up off the ground, and if that foot doesn't, the other foot won't come up at the same time, just play around with switching them off. Otherwise, if you can pick one foot up off the ground, see if you can pick the other one up off the ground at the same time. And again, be where you can go, even if that means just taking a break, having a little sip of water. And when you're ready, you're going to just simply release. So I'll give you a moment to just play. And the gaze being forward is important again because if we look beneath us, we might topple over. The head gets a little too much weight to it, and we throw off our equilibrium. So just think about that next time you're in crow. But let's go ahead and carry on with our practice. We're going to meet in downward facing dog. So plant those palms, adjust yourself on the mat, and arrive in the shape of your pose. So think about downward facing dog as an upside down V, right? If your V is a little tiny and kind of angry and aggressive, a little more space between the feet and the hands. If your V feels kind of flat, you're going to walk those feet closer to the palms until things feel just right. And then we settle back into the breath. As you exhale, relax the upper back. Let the arm bones sink back in the sockets. Feel a little press of the chest toward the thighs, the thigh bones pressing to the wall behind you. And from here, hug your abs again. Let's find three-legged dog. Right leg to the sky, nice big sweep up. Come back to your lunge. Come back to that strong foundation you set. Now, back leg straight and strong, right? Press that left thigh bone to the sky, look forward, and rise up crescent lunge. As we arrive in crescent lunge, I want you to square the hips and pelvis. Take the right sit bone, hug it toward the left sit bone, and hug the left sit bone toward the right sit bone. Now hug the abs, and here we're going to float into balance with airplane. I'd like you to sweep your arms back, pushing through the right foot, and lift your left leg up off the ground. So here, I want you to think about the body looking like a capital T. That's the easiest way to get into this pose. So head in line with the hips in line with the heel, and I want you to hug. Hug the outer leg bones together, hug the arms into the side of the body, and hug the abs. Take one more breath here in airplane. Slowly release back to crescent lunge. Use your yogi grace to land soft on the mat. Take an inhale as you arrive. Let's find warrior two. Open up, left toes swing all the way out to the edge of the mat, and we settle into that lunge in the front knee. Now I want you to take a quick moment, look at the feet. If your front heel had a line going straight to the back edge of your mat, it would intersect the middle of your left foot. So adjust the footing that you need and come back into that deep lunge. Front knee over the front ankle, no further. Arms out to the sides, hands in line with the shoulders, palms facing down to the ground. Look over the front fingertips, and without moving the hands, energetically press them toward the ground. Feel the shoulder blades slide down the back and the heart lift. Root through the outer edges of the feet. And here, reverse warrior. Front palm to the sky, big reach up to the ceiling. And as you pause, pushing through that right foot, imagine touching the ceiling. Big breath into the side ribs. Back to warrior two as you exhale, extended angle. Forearm to the thigh bone, you're gonna reach this back arm up and overhead and straighten that arm up. No bend in the elbow. Big long line of energy coming from that left heel all the way through the left fingertips. Stretch it out, one more breath. Back to warrior two as you breathe out. Look over the front fingertips, flip the back palm to the sky. Let's find a little yogi cartwheel to get down to our lunge. Reach up toward the ceiling, down toward the top edge of the mat, palms plant. Step into your plank. Now here you can take cobra or you can turn it into chaturanga dandasana. I'm going to instruct it now. Push into the earth, gaze and chest forward, hug the abs. Now go halfway down, think crow, bend the elbows back toward the hips into the body, and then up dog. Chest reaches forward. Toes can stay tucked, tops of the feet can be flat, but hug the abs. Breathe in. Down dog. Push through the heels of the hands, curl the toes under, and hips to the sky. Take a breath here with me, and let it go. Hug the abs, left leg to the sky, big sweep up, three-legged dog. Step through and find your lunge. As you arrive, push through this left foot, and as you root down, rise up, crescent lunge. Take a moment, feel the energy in the pelvis. Left sit bone pulls toward the right sit bone pulls toward the left. We stand up tall, we take a breath, and on our exhale, we sweep the arms back, we hinge forward, and we find airplane. Right leg lifts up behind you. And we stay for a moment breathing, marveling at our balance. So I want you to use the arms here. Hug them into the sides of the body, and imagine that all the outer edges of the body are coming right in toward the center of your being. One more inhale. Step back gently, crescent lunge. Land light. One breath as you arrive, warrior two. Open up to the right side of the mat. Left toes or right toes spin out, and front knee is over that front ankle. Now here, push through the outer edges, so pinky toe edges of the feet, and feel this sensation of the hips and pelvis opening. Look forward over the front fingertips and aim your belly button out at the wall at the side of the room. That's going to keep the upper body nice and open. From here, front palm to the sky, let's find reverse warrior. Left hand light or right hand lightly comes to the thigh behind you. Look up, big reach, push through the left foot, inhale. Back to warrior two as you breathe out and into extended angle. Forearm to the thigh, reach that back arm up and overhead. Nice and straight here, and I want you to breathe. From that right heel all the way up the side of the body to the fingertips, in breath. Exhale, warrior two. As you gaze over the front fingertips, flip the back palm to the sky. Let's find our way to that lunge. Reach up, forward, and down. Step it into plank. Find your strong plank foundation here. Take it into chaturanga or all the way to the belly cobra. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog when you're ready. Hips floating up to the sky, setting your strong foundation. Now we're going to come back through those poses. The body has a little bit of a roadmap, so find your breath. And on your next inhale, right leg reaches up to the ceiling. Follow your exhale into that lunge. Use your inhale, rise up strong and proud, crescent lunge. Gently glide into that airplane. Hug the outer edges of the body in for one inhale. Step back, crescent lunge. Open up, warrior two. Sink sweet into that front knee. Front palm to the sky, reverse warrior. Go into extended angle. Forward, arm to the thigh bone, back arm sweeps over, one inhale. Back to warrior two. Back palm to the sky, take yourself down to that lunge with grace. Step into your plank. Find your breath and take it halfway down or all the way to the ground. Cobra or up dog, whatever your jam is today. And down dog is where we meet on an exhale. On your next inhale, sweep that left leg to the sky. Come into your lunge. Follow your breath up to crescent lunge. Gracefully glide into your airplane. Stay for one inhale with me. Exhale, slowly, softly, sweetly release crescent lunge. Follow a breath open, warrior two. Front palm to the sky, reach up and back. Inhale, reverse warrior. Into extended angle. Come forward, reach that arm over, stretch on the in-breath. Back to warrior two. Back palm to the sky, ripple down to the ground, find that lunge. Step into your plank. And here we go. Inhale, halfway or all the way down. Open the heart, cobra or up dog. Let's meet in down dog. Whew. Take a nice deep breath in. Full cleansing breath out. And let's go ahead and meet in tabletop. Come down to hands and knees. And as you arrive, take a seat with your legs out in front of you. Very nice. A little body to breath movement always makes us feel so much more cleansed, a little bit lighter, a little more free. But now it's time to wind that energy down. So we're going to take a seated forward bend. Legs straight out in front of you. Knees can be a little bit bent if they need, or you can just let the leg bones go straight. But sit the shoulders right up over the hips, spine wide and tall, and we're gonna make the spine a little bit taller. Arms to the sky. And as you inhale, I want you to imagine that you're about to touch the ceiling and feel the sides of your body lengthen even more. Now a little hug of the belly here, and you're gonna start to fold forward, like you're reaching your hands out, wanting to suddenly touch the wall in front of you. And here's what I want to say about your fold. Some of us may be able to get all the way down and wrap our hands around our heels or grab our toes. Others, we might need for today to grab the ankles, maybe to even grab the shins. So I want you to find where you're meant to be today without force, without strain or pull, because remember, your practice is about feeling good. And as you come down, soften. Close your eyes. And as your awareness turns inward, feel that heat that your body built up during that practice. Heat is a very purifying element. So feel yourself being cleansed. Letting go and releasing those things that do not serve you in life, on or off the mat. Relax the upper back. Relax your shoulders. Release tightness or tension you might be creating in the quads. And as you soften the quads, let the knees relax a little. Take a few more peaceful breaths to yourself here. Folding one half of the body over the other, starting to let the energy of the practice settle in the body, settle in the mind. Let's release. Very slowly start to pick yourself up off the ground, out of your fold. And as you come down, let's lower onto our backs. So if you need more space behind you, scoot yourself up toward the top edge of the mat. Bend the knees and slowly lower down to the ground. Now, as you come all the way down here, we're going to take bridge pose. So arms down next to you, and I want you to walk your feet closer into your body until you can just lightly graze your heels with your longest fingertip. And that's usually a good indicator of where your feet need to be placed in order to support your knees as you lift the hips up. So once you find that, we're going to take any strain at all out of the upper back by taking what we call robot arms. So arms next to you, I want you to bend the elbows, fingertips up toward the sky. 90-degree bend in the elbows, right? So here, looking up at the ceiling, nowhere else. You're going to start to push in through the feet and lift those hips up off the ground. And as you lift the hips up, the belly comes a little closer to the ceiling. Feel out your upper back support. Maybe here the arms feel okay, but you can always kind of walk those arms a little closer into you in order to feel even more supported. So find where you can be, relax the palms, relax the fingers, and we're here for a few breath cycles. So as you breathe in, I want you to imagine that your tailbone is like a feather, getting light, floating a little bit up toward the sky. And imagine the tailbone now reaching toward the space between your knees, between your shins, just a little baby lengthening of the low back. Try to soften through the back of the neck. Maybe a little gentle press of the back of the head into the ground to bring the chin a tiny bit away from the chest, keeping the airway open. For one last breath in, and a full breath out. Let's slowly release our bridge. Gently bring those hips back down to the ground. And as you arrive, bring your arms down next to you. Bring them a little bit away from the sides of the body and bring the feet together. As you walk those feet in toward one another, we're going to come into windshield wiper knees. So I want you to drop the knees over to one side, pick them up through center, drop them over to the next, and you're just going to continue side to side here on your own for a moment. So maybe close your eyes. Let these movements feel sweet. As you open up the low back, maybe open up the outer hips. Take one last little drop toward whichever direction you're going, and we'll meet with those knees back at center. So here, we're going to take a final twist just to release our practice completely. I'd like you to reach your arms out next to you, hands in line with the shoulders, palms can be up or down, just depends on what feels best. And if this doesn't feel good, you're welcome to turn your arms into goalposts, just like that little back bend that we had in Crescent Moon. So whatever works for you here, you're going to push your feet into the ground, lift the hips up, and scoot them just a couple inches over to the right. And then once you do that, pick the feet up off the ground, knees toward the chest, and drop the knees and the legs over to the left. Now once you come down, adjust if you need. Maybe you need to walk the arms and shoulders out a little. Maybe you need to adjust the hips. But find a place you can settle into for a moment and close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, relax your belly. Think about the upper back getting a little heavier. Right shoulder getting just as heavy as the left as you exhale, but resisting any temptation to pull it down into the ground. And as the upper back settles into the earth, feel the chest opening. Big breath into the rib cage, feel it expand. Soften through the inner thighs as you exhale. One more breath in, and a full breath all the way out. You closed your eyes, open them up, and let's bring the knees back to center. So just bring them up, and once you're back, feet on the ground. Recalibrate the spine so everything's straight beneath you. And then once again, push into the feet, lift the hips up, bump them just a couple inches to the left, and then pick those feet up off the ground, knees toward the chest, and drop those knees over to the right. And again here, adjust, make any changes you need to let yourself sink into a place of peace. And once you're here, pull the awareness inward, close the eyes, and notice where you might be able to soften for a few sweet, peaceful breaths in this pose. Maybe just relaxing the palms of your hands, letting the fingers curl in. Acknowledging where your breath is going in your body. Imagining maybe that the rib cage is almost like an accordion, and as you breathe in, you feel those bellows expand nice and wide. And as you exhale even slower, you just feel those bellows come right back to neutral. Relax the muscles around the edges of your eyes. Soften through your jaw and your tongue. Let's take a final inhale and a full breath out. Slowly open your eyes if you close them. And let's bring ourselves back to center. Gently unravel your twist. Knees right back up above you. Feet to the ground. Recenter that spine. And then I want you to bring those knees into the chest once again. Reach those arms up. Wrap them around your shin bones. And give yourself a nice big hug here. Squeezing yourself in a little moment of love and appreciation for all that you are, all that you do. Let's take one last breath into this hug. Shavasana is our exhale. Let go of the legs, feet to the ground, and stretch those legs out. As you arrive to your Shavasana, remove any fidgets, any adjustments you need to the clothes, make them now, and then let the body come to rest for a moment. Arms down next to you, eyes closed. And as you soften here into your final and most important pose, you are giving yourself a moment to simply be. Nothing you need to get or understand, no work that the body has left to do. Feel the energy that you created just buzzing through you. Unhinge your jaw. Soften your eyebrows. Let them slide a little further away from the center of the forehead, and maybe imagine those eyebrows melting down toward the hairlines at the side of your head. Feel the muscles softening throughout your entire body, almost as if they could dissolve their grip away from the bones and melt into a little puddle beneath you. Feel the bones becoming heavier as you take your next exhale, surrendering your support to the earth beneath you. Sink in even deeper. Inhale slow. Exhale slower. Quiet body, quiet mind. Shavasana. Feel free to enjoy Shavasana as long as feels good. When you're ready to release, start to make some tiny movements throughout the body. Maybe a little wiggle of the fingertips or the toes, maybe both. Maybe give yourself a little rock of the head side to side. But again, no rushing the process. If Shavasana is feeling amazing, I invite you to stay. As you move and feel your energy coming back, bring everything to steady again. You're going to reach your arms above your head when you're ready. And think about that stretch that you take when you wake up in bed in the morning. And as you find that stretch, give yourself a nice big awakening inhale. And as you exhale, soften against the mat. Bend your knees, feet to the ground. Pull those knees up to the chest. Reach the hands up behind the legs and give yourself a little rock up to a seat. And when you're ready, end your practice in Sukhasana, comfortable seated position. Hands together in front of the heart, returning to Anjali Mudra, heart seal. A moment to pause and appreciate the good feelings that our practice brought to us, the clearing of space, the peaceful energy we created. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Let that exhale out loud and proud through the lips. Take a bow. And as you bow, bow to your body, your breath, and the experience of your practice. I bow to the light in you. Namaste.